I ain't been here in a few weeks. I got a couple of clips to that I've taken over the last little while. That's attractive, isn't it? That's what the cable company does when they install your internet through this box, and they drill holes in your siding. Anyway, I'm gonna cut to all the clips that I've taken this week, and then I'm gonna walk around and show you a couple other things, and come back and finish this video. I hope to be on schedule to start making videos again soon at some point. Touch on more of that later. See you in a second. Pregnant. So as you can see, my garden is completely overgrown. One of these mornings I got to get out here and run the weed eater. Things are growing. We've eaten zucchini from it. There's squash about ready to eat. Cucumbers are flowering. Sunflowers that are taller than I am. The corn up top's about waist high. There's a couple tomatoes going over there. But I'll explain at the end how this got away from me. Not sure if I covered this, but there's my, moving the tent and the tarps around to try to kill weeds. Hello, Walter. That pallet is actually an IKEA pallet. It used to be part of a fence at my old house in Charleston that I've since made into a bridge here. Square bale hay went from $4 a bale to $8 a bale this year. Let's go, Brandon. Alright, so it's far from done. Still need to paint, put a handrail on it. But those are the free spindles I got in Middlesboro. And I spent about $300 on making those stairs, but it's all attached and level and square on a non-level deck. Imagine that. We haven't had rain but a few sprinkles since April. My grass is dying. I had to do this because anytime somebody came to my house, they thought it was cool to just park in the middle of my front yard. Don't park on my grass, man. I've yet to do anything with it, but I did find this table. It's still got good feet and legs. The top of it needs some love. But, that was at the local trash disposal place next to a dumpster. I picked it up and threw it in the truck. At some point I'm going to redo the top of it, but much like about 9,000 other projects that I've got, it's probably never going to happen. This old shit box has become the most reliable thing that we own currently. The Subaru is going to need a transmission sooner than later, and I can't afford to drive that truck. $50 gets you to town and back like 3 times. That's why it's kind of parked over there in the garden. I drive it once a month. It's been 3 or 4 days, but I sprayed some Credit 41 extra on all this over here to try to get rid of these weeds. You could literally run the weed eater here 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never get caught up. Sometimes you got to spray chemicals. So this thing's literally parked over here in the weeds because I don't like driving it. I've been pulled over in it, and I don't know, once you get pulled over in a vehicle, for me, you got to get rid of it. I don't worry about blocking off my license plates anymore, because if anybody cares to look that up and figure out where I live, that's cool. You knock on my door, I'll answer it with a shotgun. But yeah, it isn't that we can't afford to drive it. I can't justify spending the money that it costs to drive this truck. $50 doesn't even get you a half a tank, and you literally get 3 trips to town and back. Doesn't do so well on the highway with those ridiculous fucking tires that are on it either. If anybody's looking for a lifted 3rd gen Dodge, I will gladly take this thing to town and detail it. Nothing wrong with it. Check engine light comes and goes. But yeah, I'd take $9,000 for that. If you look it up on Kelley Blue Book, it's 12.7 is the high end, and 8,000 is the low end. But this thing is, minus the fact that it's filthy, it's mint. The interior is wonderful. Dash is not cracked. Everything works. Air conditioning, heat, all that. If somebody's looking for a Dodge, I'd probably take $9 grand for it. All right, so this is my next big project. You can see it got away from me. I kind of let this section of it here. I had the weed eater going. You can see I ran it where this truck is sitting. I'd planted cantaloupe right here, but I was waiting for some of them to pop out so that I could identify them and isolate them before I ran the weed eater. Nothing happened with the cantaloupe. Ooh, look, a tomato. Ooh, look, another tomato. Look at all the fucking weeds. I gotta do something about this, just like I need to go figure out why the hell my goat is squawking. They still got hay. But this is gonna be a process. I'm gonna have to run the weed eater. But problem is that like 2/3 of this is blackberry vines, and I don't want to get rid of the blackberries until we harvest them. So I'm kind of letting them overrun my garden. You can see my sunflowers back there. None of them have actually pushed out a flower yet, though. Hey, look, there's a wild rose bush. Hence the fact that the name of the town that I don't live in but is my mailing address is Rose Hill. Like, waiting for that to flower any day now. Hey, look. Wait a minute. Hey, how did that happen?
I don't know. I'm trying.
Son of a bitch. Here I am trying to make a movie, and now I got a video. Now I got a goat on my porch. That's exciting. Let me go wrangle that fucker. And hey, imagine that. This video is crooked and shaking, and my goats are still making noise. Did that take 10 minutes? I think we.
You've become quite skilled.
Well, it initially was a. They're not happy. You can't really wrangle the little guy. Jesus, this is so crooked. It's awful. You'd think I'd never made a YouTube video before in my life, but I have over 600 of them on my channel. Imagine that. And again, here's all this sightly shit behind me. You can't move Sunday. You have to get a hold of Brownie and move Brownie, and Sunday follows. Anyway, you can hear them. They're back out there making noise. They're back out in the first yard that I built for them in the birthing suite. So, it's been quite an interesting spring into the beginning of summer. Shut the fuck up. Jesus. You know, it was the end of February, I started getting kidney stones, and that shit took 2.5 months before it got done doing what it was doing. And then literally like 3 days after I got done with kidney stones, I got food poisoning, and that took a minute. And by the time I was back on my feet and doing what it was I needed to do. I was so far behind that I had barely planted my garden. Um, it, it's been a process. Um, but moving the goats around, they were over there, and then they've been over here for, what's it been, 3 weeks since they've been over here? About. They since ate that down. It was time to move them anyway. But Sunday moved the beanbag toss, or as they call it in the South, the cornhole board, over toward the fence. He made himself a ramp and just jumped over the fence. Can't say as I blame him. When I was his age in goat years, whatever goat years are, I was out when I was like 5 years old using those metal drive-on car ramps in an alley to jump bicycles. So I can understand he made himself a ramp and he jumped out. I've not been very healthy of late. I've been going through some shit physically, emotionally, mentally. It's been a roller coaster of all things, to say the least. I feel like I'm back in a pretty decent spot. It's just you got to get outside at like 6:30 in the morning and be done by like 10:30 or 11 o'clock, because it's been between 90, 95, 100 degrees every day now with no rain for like 3 weeks. I struggle to hydrate anyway. The stuffing copious amounts of liquid down your throat to keep your pee from being orange is always a problem. So you got to get things done early, and the amount of stuff that you can get done early. Oh boy, they are thrashing on that fence. I had to get some baling wire and tie some shit up before I left them out there. They should be good for tonight. Hell, they're goats. Now, we've been eating zucchini out of the garden. I think we have eaten 6 of them so far. We've got yellow squash that are about... they're at a point where they go from this big to that big in about a week, within a couple of days. Sunflowers are, like I said, they're taller than I am. Some of them are 7, 8 feet tall. Yet to push out any flowers. I've got my, it's either 6x5 or 6x6 patch of corn on top of the hill going. Cucumbers are flowering. I've got some tomatoes that are doing some things, both in boxes and on that hillside, that are promising, but I don't think I'm going to get anything to do with a pepper this year. All the bell peppers that I started from seed, I've put them in the ground, and you go out and they got sunburnt and they died. And in my defense, I'm still 3 zones away from what I'm comfortable with, and this is the first time I've ever actually put seeds and plants in the ground itself. I've always grown things in planter boxes. So there is still a bit of a learning curve. I know what to do going into next season, and when to spray the weeds before I plant things to keep it from getting how it is, because there's weeds, snakes, there's all kinds of shit going on up there. I'm working on it. It's a learning curve. And I can't be too incredibly critical on myself, even though I'm probably the most critical person on myself of anybody that I've ever met. Like, when it comes time to, like, dude, I spent this money, I did this, and it fucking sucks, and it doesn't work. It isn't working. But we're eating zucchinis to the point where last night I fried up some zucchinis, and I made a couple of, I fried a little bit of Amish ham. You ever get a chance to get some Amish lunch meat, by all means do it. A little bit of Amish ham, a little bit of Amish pepperoni, a little bit of Amish cheese, and put it on a bun, and we ate it with zucchinis, and it was fucking fabulous. To the point where we're like, there was nothing left to eat, and I walked back in the kitchen, and I see my wife, she's looking for the little crunchy bits from the flour that had fallen off of the zucchini, and I can't say as I blame her. I've got a little bit more reserve when it comes to things of the sort, but it had crossed my mind, trust me. We've lived together for, well, we've been together for over 10 years now, married for 8 and some change. I understand how her brain works, and You know, the longer you live with somebody, the more you become them. And I actually was coming back into the kitchen to look for all the same little crunchy bits that she was looking for. She beat me to it. I think that deserves a nipple twister. She made a comment. I grabbed a hold of a nipple earlier today. She's like, ah, spot on. We're like, bitch, I've been playing with your titties for 10 years. I know where they're at. Anyway. I don't think that Brownie is pregnant, but our black mama cat is very, very pregnant to the point where she's laying on the ground looking like she's dead at the moment. She's not.
And in our defense,
Well, it had only...
she was still nursing.
We couldn't have... If we'd have scheduled a vet appointment the day that we found her, we wouldn't have been able to get her into the vet by now to get her fixed, and she'd have had a whole... She's having a whole nother cycle of kitties. And yeah, we were a little bit lax on that, but it was just mama and baby, and all my boys are fixed, and, well, where's there a cat out here that still has an intact sack? Not a fucking clue. So I've been going through some shit, and I've been if I could quote a Waylon Jennings song that you all would know, the famous television show that it came from, I've been making my way the only way I know how. And I've been getting through it. I spent a lot of time on the road during the last while, in and out of doctor's offices, wearing masks. Just, COVID's over. Can I just see my doctor without having to breathe through a paper mask that's going to coat the inside of my lungs and then make me hack and sick the next day? That's a deer. We got some deer living right there. It's a matter of time before I put a hole in one and I put it in my freezer. The grouse are still doing okay. Nothing's in season right now, even though it's completely legal to shoot and kill anything that walks on my land any time of the year without a permit or a license. I'm trying to give them a... Jesus, little cat just ran down the dam. The little kitty...
It's getting long.
That's what she said. What the fuck happened there? I got bit by something. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up for now, and I will try to catch you guys next week. It's a lot of mowing, weed eating, and spraying. Here's 10 minutes of your life that you'll never get back. But thanks for watching. I've heard if you hit the like button, it makes other people want to see my videos. Even though I think there's going to be like 111 of you that will actually watch this. I should name it Dumpster Diving for Life, right? Anyway, what say you, Mrs. Nobody?
I like that title.
Not going to happen. Peace out, fuckers.